PS5 Pro presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. I seen people talking about the PS5 Pro.
Hi,
Seen
I'm
people are
Mark
happy
Cerny.
about it.
I'm excited to be here
Let
to
me know
talk about
y'all's
the newest
thoughts.
addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a
I'm
minute to
about to
look at
see
what
what
we
it's
put in
about
the
though.
original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
It looked like the only
When
if the
PS5
left one says the
debuted in
PS5
2020,
Pro, the only visual difference is that it has a disc slot.
it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful
They must be
RDNA
talking about
2
the
GPU,
regular
which can render
PS5.
anything from intricate details
I feel
to
like
fantastic
this is all
worlds
regular
with vast
PS5
panoramas
stuff right
to
here.
explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the
Ray tracing.
realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
That was a cool little transition, not gonna lie.
I'm working on it.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the
3D
DualSense
audio.
controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game.
Haptics on
It's
the
wonderful to see such
DualSense haptics.
variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all
So
familiar
they
with,
upgraded the graphics?
modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The
30?
visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically
30
choosing to run at
FPS.
60 frames per second,
In the big 2024?
mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Yeah,
Removing
bro,
that
I need
decision,
60
or at least
frames.
Narrowing that divide is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over
Why are they
PlayStation
using
5
different
in
mics?
3 ways. Here's what we call the Big Three. First,
Big
we made the
Three.
GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
Okay,
Second,
that,
we made
faster rendering.
major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an
And ray
AI
tracing.
library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR
What is
analyzes the
PSSR?
game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big three involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per
It
second.
does look good.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore
That's a big
much
difference.
Stop.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a big
This
difference.
goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, we can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second.
Okay, now we're on the
What we see
performance mode.
here
I
is
think
a
the last
difference
one
in
was
detail.
fidelity.
PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
You can tell that this is a lot more detailed, all the way down to like the windows. There's more clarity on the windows. There's more clarity on the leaves down here.
For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet and Clank.
Oh.
Distant details are much clearer.
Yeah.
And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
Oh.
So overall, some
The
remarkable
performance looks calm.
On PS5
I'm not gonna
Pro,
lie.
we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value.
The
As you
big
can
three
see,
looks
machine
comfy.
learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects,
That looks real
as
good.
well as to the hair and the
I can't
skin
cap.
in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster
Oh
hardware.
yeah,
in
let me
PS5
see
Pro
the ray
can
tracing
make a
difference
real
on
difference.
Cyberpunk. Let me see Cyberpunk.
Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy,
Hogwarts.
allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces.
Let me know who's still
but
playing
also for
Hogwarts,
further
bro. I
realism
don't
in
know
the
nobody
casting
that's
of
still
shadows.
playing this game.
I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you
I feel like that's what the PS5 should have been in the first place.
a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
That should be the normal PS5. Cause you know, I'm pretty sure, Xbox they had did like the Xbox Series X and Series S, and one of them had the disc slot, and the other one was digital only. I'm pretty sure. So why would they not just do this back then
Don't let me hang it.
and have a better console?
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this? What's with all the neon?
For honor? "19 inches of venom." $700. Yo. Let me see. Normal PS5. A normal PS5 is $469 from GameStop. $450. So we're going up almost 450, 550. We're going up like $250 just for. Oh nah, they're scamming. Oh hell nah, bruh. So that you mean to tell me they went from 450 to $700 with a 50% increase in graphics? I'm not gonna lie, the graphics did look good, but $700 when the other one is $450 is absolutely insane. And I already heard, I think it was a stat that said over like 40 or I think it was like 40% of players on the PlayStation Net are still on the old generation, or still on old gen. It might have been 60%. That's crazy, bro. They're not. If they're still on old gen now, you really think they're about to drop $700 on a PlayStation 5? You're tripping.